Hey, does anybody remember that time 9 Days had a song about being disappointing in all the right ways?
If I am another waste of everything you hope for.
So I already talked about Absolutely Story of a Girl like a while ago, and I mentioned this song because If I Am is probably my favorite song by 9 Days and one of my favorites from the early 2000s in general because I love how catchy it is, but also how like clever the lyrics and wordplay are. But let's go to the beginning.
So you're standing on a ledge. It looks like you might fall.
Basically saying like, hey, don't give up hope just yet. I'm going to help the best I can. And then I love how there's little turns of phrases from active to passive. So like, give me a little credit, having me a little faith.
To give me a little credit, having me a little faith.
One of my closest friends back on the East Coast, whenever I'd be flustered, would tell me, Rod, don't borrow trouble. And I feel like that's kind of what he says here with don't let the sun set on tomorrow before the sun rises today.
Never let the sun set on tomorrow before the sun rises today.
And I've mentioned this before, but I'm a full-time songwriter here in Los Angeles. And one of the things I hear from both my peers, other songwriters, and then, mentors that I try to learn from, always say is like, say something like very common, but in an uncommon way. So here, instead of saying like, I'll never give up on you, or I'll never disappoint you, he basically says like, if I'm going to be a disappointment to you, if I'm going to fail you, I'm going to fail at failing you. It's kind of like a double negative.
I am another waste of everything you dreamed of. I will let you down.
On top of that title lyric, those three notes being probably one of the catchiest melodies of pop rock in the 2000s.
If I am
One of my favorite lyrics of all time is in this song too, where he says, the answers we find are never what we had in mind, so we make it up as we go along. I feel like that's a life mantra.
the answers we find are never what we had in mind, so we make it up as we go along.
I said this in my other post, but I still believe that 9 Days is the playbook for pop rock in the early 2000s, and this song is such a great example of that.